Dute is in the house. And we shall start the way we always start. Folks, until the lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter. And you know, I'll say that again. Well, folks, I said until the lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter. Hello and welcome to the most opinionated hour on radio. And the nation are the fourth chief of the little republic of Akwemu, Edumasa. Welcome to another episode of That's My Opinion. And as I say, today is the origins of our attitude. The origins of our attitude. Now, folks, when the debate why it is we are the way we are was very silent or non-existent, why do we have the attitude we have? The good thing is that a good many of us know that it's not the best. And we know that we have to change. And we know that it has to be sooner rather than later. But how did we get this terrible? Because there is nothing in our present attitude that is told in our history. There's nothing in our present attitude that is told in our history, which means we picked it up along the way. Yet, the sad aspect is that we blame our bad attitude on our culture. Very sad. Our culture seems to be seems like the easy. So culture has taken a hit for our terrible attitude of the present. Folks, what we are exhibiting today as a negative attitude to nation building was first set up deliberately, thought of this level of success. Folks, I don't think that the protagonists themselves thought of this level of success, where the chains and shackles are gone and now we literally are paying for the chains to be put back on. I mean, that's a success, if you ask me. In the beginning, the schools will have to wait for children to come. So the brainwashing will begin. And it began with language. You have to disregard your mother tongue. Today, the schools need not worry. Before the child starts, the parent would have already done that job. Before the child starts, that job would have already been done by the parents. All the school needs to do is just enhance that mentality. Then we move to culture and identity. If it's not white, it's not right. There's a little subtle undertone. There's a little unwritten rule. There's a little time. In school, you tease those who can't speak English well, and you forgive those who cannot even speak their mother. And because if it's not white, it's not right. Folks, the next level in education is competition. You have to compete. Section, cleaning a compound. And you hear Namokpe, Yellowpe, Namokpe, Yellowpe. You know, who was last? Yellow was last. In aspect. Everything is a competition. And so from day one in school, you are taught that you have to compete. Whatever it is, you have to win. Whether there's a prize or not, you have to win. Very close by to this culture of competition is selfishness. Oh, yes. Cover your work. No talking. Don't show him. Don't teach her. Don't help anyone. All the way through to university, you are taught not to help. So those who have to help would have to be either sneaky or crafty, or that is when you start learning, sir, ways and means, passing papers under your desk and everything, only just to, and sometimes it's just a class test. And even that, you're not allowed to group up and share ideas. To say everything, do it on your own. So right from primary school through to university, we are taught never to reach out to anybody. And we are in school. We are here to learn, to help out, to reach out. Because when we leave school and we come to the real world, that's what it is. I'll be here. Abeku would help me out with all these buttons. Meanwhile, he's been taught Emwobia. And all too often we meet it outside. You go to your work and anything but Omwa, because that's how we have been programmed. Quite a number of teachers get a bit vindictive and personal. Yeah, you make a mistake in class and the teacher is taking it so personal. It's not like he's willing to correct you or just what personal. Oh, yeah, but then again, in all honesty, been taught, or what she has been taught. He can only do their best. I can't come here and do this show in French, French. So I could really have wanted to do it in French, but you meant French. So I can just do my best. And that's what the teacher is doing. Folks, we went through a period where the noble profession of teaching became a preserve for dropouts and people who couldn't quite make their grades. We entrusted millions of children in their hands of people who didn't quite cut it. Or those who thought that the teaching was just a stepping stone until they found something better. Can you imagine? Teaching. Children are there with their virgin brain, be something else, and couldn't make it. So I'm for teaching this. And they were the ones who were grooming us to come out to build Ghana. Come and build the nation. People who themselves did not want to be there, or people who couldn't cut it to fit in any other institution, therefore they ended up in the classroom. And you know what? The worst of them was one. Jesus Christ. Then religion, that was supposed to come and save us. After we have been miseducated, we are now told that we should not be worried about earthly possessions. For ours is the kingdom of, basically, love poverty. And ironically, while they were teaching us to love poverty in that laziness, subtly, religion is telling you to be okay with your poverty, and it's okay to be lazy because the Lord will provide. Folks, we're just doomed. We're just condemned. It's just that we're not aware. The roads in heaven are paved with gold. Folks, this sort of teachings completely killed our innovations and our inventions. No need. Inventing what? When you die, you're going to get better ones in heaven. So for now, just live in the filth, live in undeveloped, just don't worry. Because when you die, you get a better place to go. We were just doomed. Doomed, folks. And I keep telling you, forefathers who never went to tech came up with the kente cloth. And today, as I speak to you, you can take that cloth anywhere in this world. Probably even if you went to Mars and there were people there, they'll look at it and think, wow, who put this together? Who put this together? And from then till today, if the Chinese don't weave something for us to import, we don't have any alternative kente cloth to come and put down and say that this is what we built on what they did. Because you know why? We have a better place to go. We don't need to worry about these earthly things. So you see, it's not by chance that we ended up with this bad attitude. It's through a lot of time and investment. Calculated. That's why a graduate coming from church can still litter without any conscience. Graduate, I'm quite sorry, come, drink a bottle of water or sachet of water and just drop it and go. And you're thinking, hold on, you missed it in school and you're missing it at church? And it didn't happen. That's why a university student during vacation would go into some water body to engage in this mining, pollution, killing, distraction. Why? To get money to go back to school. What an irony. You ask yourself, if you are this stupid, why are you going back to school? Why don't you just stay there and just pollute the water and be free? You've gone to school all the way to university and not at any time. And I'm sure if you're a Muslim or a Christian, you must have gone to Masarachi or Sunday school, and at no time in this, when we come back to school, folks, now we are mainly taught how to memorize the characteristics of A, the characteristics of B, the characteristics of this. How to identify problems. So yes, most of us have a PhD star, and you're a minister in Ghana. Look, it's like a minister in heaven. I mean, you come, you have your most expensive four-wheel drive, sometimes two, a little saloon car for your wife. You have a police following you just in case somebody wants to beat you. God, after his free house, free petrol, free car, free, I'm on police sneaker, then he comes to tell you what the problems are. So we all have a PhD in knowing what the problems is. We do. In all schools for 6 months or a year. And when we start it, it will be aimed at making the Ghanaian innovative again. It will make every Ghanaian useful to the area. It will revere our culture. It will teach empathy, cleanliness, environmental protection will start from it. So that when we talk about development, it will include the human being and not just brick and mortar. That's our bane. Folks, during the course, we have been finding eggs from day one till now, and we are not going anywhere. So now that this COVID has brought the school to a close and we are home, maybe we could have started our reforms then. So that by the time they go to school, they're not just going to look for eggs, but probably find out why eggs was there in the first place. Learn to solve problems. But unfortunately, we didn't. And a half or 2 generations for us to see some decent citizens coming through the mill. In the meantime, folks, as I keep saying, if we are able to reduce the stakes with which one gets to become president for this country, maybe he or she can put their foot down and stem the tide a little bit. So yes, we have to fix the attitude. But you can't go through all this system and come back and say, now I'm going to change. The system with which you are going through should change you. The system with which you are going through should change you. So you can't go with all this false indoctrination, this negative education or miseducation. Come out, get in front of a steering wheel and suddenly say, yep, I'm going to be patient, I'm going to be courteous towards him. Meanwhile, you maybe when you're in school, you're always in yellow and always yellow pay. So once you're on that road, you're not on baby more. He's not going to be last again. Every car in front of angry, insult. No knowledge about himself and his culture, nothing. Why? Because he's been trained that way. We're not born with any knowledge. We came and we picked up the intelligence in our environment. So here we are. Yes, we need to fix the attitude. But we need to... Enough is enough. We're going back to educate and not miss out. They will come out as decent citizens. Decent citizens. Willie Asante says, Nana, I must admit, this has been a good show. 0302 216 541. Emmanuel in Lashibi says, Nana, please, oh, it's blessed are the poor in spirit. And not what you quoted.
Oh, good evening, Nana.
Good evening.
Well, this is Francis.
Yes.
Meeting you from Dodoa.
Francis, let me hear you.
All right. Nana, yeah, you come again. Interesting.
Thank you.
But you see, sometimes when I hear you come out like this, you see, it let me feel as if we all now we are like sheep without shepherd. All right. You see, the worst of the hit of the trap that the system have gotten us into is this one. Do you know what they used to teach us about the Judgment Day in church?
Tell me.
All right, so this is what they do. They just tell you or teach you in the church that just live anyhow you want to live. Live all your living mixed up until the Judgment Day. God will judge you and put you whether in heaven or hell. Can you imagine that? So I wake up tomorrow morning, go to my neighbor's room, make sure no one sees me. I break into his room, pick up his laptop, and make sure no one sees me, and I get out of it. So the next thing is I will have to wait until the Judgment Day for God to judge me and ask me, do you remember on the 5th of March, 1986, you went to your brother's room and stole his laptop, do you remember? And then I'll tell God, oh God, you know, it's a long time, so I can't. They have turned us into. So they don't teach us to be conscious of our everyday doing, what everyday living, from morning to evening, whatever, anywhere, anyhow. And his mind is that until Judgment Day that probably God is going to ask him up. But the living is more than that. So we should come back to our self-consciousness to know that everything is doing. All right, so after going to still know, who else do you want to the judgment that God will you are caught in a trap. Continue.
Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much. 0302216541. Hello, who's talking to me?
Good evening, Nana. Trust you are doing well.
I'm very well. Ajima in I see.
I was interrupted a little bit, so if you can, into your question, let me get it clear so that I can come up with something.
Oh, I'm just talking about if we were to change our attitude that we are complaining about today, we need to change the system with which we put our children through schooling, the way we teach them in terms of religion and education, because these have become like the mass, educators. But if we wait for them to come through and then cry for attitudinal change, it becomes difficult.
And one first problem that we have as Ghanaians, the whole of Africa, we don't know what is good for our children. But elsewhere in the Western world, the moment the child is born, quickly they know what the child can do. So we teach in the second cycle or junior high. I stand to be corrected though, but I don't think they will take more than 1,000 cities a month. But if they see somebody in a jacket, dressed up, going to sit at the office with air conditioning, then they look down upon themselves totally. In my hometown, forgetting about this story that finish school, I'll go and teach more, and I'll go and look for a better job to do. So in this case, the child that you are teaching, who has got the teaching inside him or her, would deviate. So we see ourselves, the way we calculate ourselves, it's how that's what makes us as human beings. We have talent, but we don't seem to cherish the talent we have, and we compare wrongly. And I think some of our problems that we have faced.
With ICS, Nana.
Let me hear you, Evans.
Nana, good evening.
Good evening, Evans.
Thank you for your for anything, even education. And just as you said, people with coach, they are paid well. And those they don't, and how can they rule when we think that those people are paid in life and they are teaching? And they don't pay them well too. So it's a cycle from time memorial, and it's going on. No government cares want their children to learn English and other languages other than their mother tongue. Because with that, the society will know that so it's so sad, Nana. Thank you very much.
Thank you too. 0302216541. Hello, who's talking to me?
Good evening, Nana.
Good evening.
Nana, my name is Kojo. I'm calling from Lashibi.
Kojo, let me hear you.
Nana, see, I was born in 73, went to Form 1 in 84, thereabouts. And I know in that era, those who would say, when I grow up, I want to be a nurse, a teacher, a policeman, a soldier, were passionate about it. And they excelled in what they dreamt of becoming. Fast forward to this era. Oh, Wanyadi, and your uncle nursing beer, and your uncle nurses training, and uncle teacher training. And so there is really no passion for what career they find themselves in. See, I thought that government would encourage those who excel, like the first class students, to stay in academia. And so what you do is pay them well, entice them with scholarships so that they stay in academia, instead of losing them to the US, the UK, and what have you. It's really sad there is no policy direction. We just live by the day. This is Ghana for you.
I couldn't agree with you more. Honestly, I could not agree with you more on that. 0302216541. Hello, who's talking to me?
Hello.
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 Yes, who's talking to me?
Yeah, I'm John calling from Cape Coast.
John, let me hear you.
Yeah, Nana, you see, today is my first time of calling on your program.
Oh, thank you.
And I've really enjoyed your show so much. Well. Yeah, my take is first one about the preachings, what you have been teaching us on church and stuff. When we were growing up, I have a friend. Anytime you take your book and you want to go and learn, the friend will tell you, Judgment Day is coming. So why should you go and worry yourself a day? If you learn and Judgment Day comes, you won't get anything. We will all be the same. Nana, 20 years now, Judgment Day has not come. And my friend, I don't know where he is now. So you see, if we're able to train our mind to some areas, Nana, it is going to affect us. So I totally agree that we should there should be a policy in place to psych us. It's to psych us. That is the only thing that can help cure whatever we are experiencing now. Thank you.
Thank you. So that the time the child comes out of schooling, even JSS, even class 6, you see, they should aim it that by the time that child finishes class 6, at least every class 6 child will know that there's no way I should drop litter, there's no way I should kill a tree. I mean, by class 6, you should know these things. And then as you go forward, you probably know the reasons why you're not supposed to do it. Hello, who's talking to me?
Hello, Nana.
Yes, sir.
This is Godwin.
Yes, Godwin.
Which of the attitudes are we referring to? Is it national attitude?
What national? Well, you say national attitude, but it's a lower your radio for me. Lower your radio for me, please.
There's a echo.
Okay, it's a national.
Let me lower it, please.
Okay.
Is it okay?
Yes, I think so. Well, it's a national attitude, but it's individually that becomes collectively. So you can basically generalize it, even though you may not particularly be somebody who litters, but generally we'll say, look, there's too much litter in Ghana. So then you account. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You see, when it comes to attitude, you don't change attitude with educational curriculum. You know, it's a system of governance that changes attitudes. You see, children don't do what we tell them. They don't do what they tell them. They do what we do. I mean, can you just imagine we are telling children not to litter, but the adults are littering? Okay? It is the system of governance that changes all attitudes. You see, when you are deficient in your personal plan, it only affects you. It will hardly affect me. When you are deficient in your family plans, it only affects your family. It will hardly affect my family. When you are deficient in your company plans, it affects your company. It hardly affects my company. If there's a deficiency in any of the religions, it affects that religion. It hardly affects those who are practicing other religions. But if there's a deficiency in a system of governance, a workplace, just to keep up with basic necessities, what did the Bible say? Thou shalt not do what? Bear false witness. So to change attitude is a system of governance, okay, are in defiance of the same rule that is supposed to govern all of us. What do you think others will do? Listen, there was an era in which when people acquire work, job at a public office, their parents will call them. Kweku, matisa wanya ichuma wa abemo. Let me say, busi ande employment kwasiye. Yes, era in Ghana here. That was the era under Pierre, this under Jerry. Okay, what happened? So is it? Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to agree and disagree to the point where, yes, if we had a good sense in that child, any culture or any attitude, and hope that if they finish university and they have a good president, they will also be good. I think that child going through school, going through church, should also be straightened. And then when they come back and coupled with the same system, you see, so it's a cycle that has to be broken. That gradually we'll get good, good, decent citizens coming through. Hello, who's talking to me? Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Who's talking to me?
This is Bernard.
Bernard, let me hear you.
I start with the gentleman who spoke about first class being retained in our academia. But I think also minimum qualifications to teach our kids from kindergarten to probably class 3 or 6 should be master's degree. But we've left education, but teaching actually it's supposed to be a passion. And you are supposed to get required skills. We don't just allow people from the SS awaiting results to go to the classroom to teach our kids. And also, I think when we say fix the country, we should first fix ourselves. When this pandemic hit us hard, we were selling those masks at 5 cities, 10 cities. Meanwhile, it could have been sold around 1 city. Today we are having 5 for 1 city. What happened? What changed? So sometimes the onus lies on us to do the right thing. I always say, even if the government reduces tax or zero tax, people also increase prices, goods and services. So we are not doing ourselves any good by that. So I think we should first change our attitude. And also, the environment at which our kids grow in. It is nothing to go by with.
Oops, sorry. 0302216541. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. I've been a while.
Yeah, sometimes I try to call and the lines are, busy.
Sure, don't they know you are calling? Stephen, let me hear you.
Nana?
Yes.
You know, somebody said we should make the minimum qualification for teaching in Ghana to be master's degree.
Well, so, no, for the formative years, up to class
Yes.
3, yes.
Yes, but you see, we used to have set A or set B. Those teachers were better than today's degree people. Those teachers were more committed to the job than today's degree teachers. System, because when you fix the teacher, first of all, teachers are poorly trained, they are poorly tooled, and they are poorly paid. When you have these three combinations, you are not going to get any better in the classroom. 2 years, we have implemented curriculum, and at the end of the day, we don't have a textbook. The minimum thing to maintain the standard is not in our schools. How do we then expect a teacher to teach well in our schools? What tools are there for teachers to teach? So we need to balance the argument from the perspective of how education is being delivered in total. It's a system. And if you want, look, Nana, since 2011, 2012, up to 2016, government owes many teachers salary arrears, and up to today, the government is pretending not to pay. Pretending to be ignorant of the fact that the government owes a lot of teachers in our system. Now, when you have a system where it does that, the world is coming to an end. And many Christians think that the world is coming to an end. So if the world is coming to an end, why do you develop Africa in any way? Will you develop a place where it's coming to get destroyed? No. So we cannot be believing some of these fairy tales in so-called holy books and think that we can develop at the same time. The Bible and development is...
Let me go to the phones. Hello, who's talking to me?
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, hi. Good evening.
Good evening. Who am I talking to?
Nana, my name is Apoza.
Sure, Gapoza. Let me hear you.
So, Nana, my take is that, like you mentioned, the white man is gone with all his indoctrinations and all the false information that we receive. Unfortunately, at this moment, the media, in my estimation, is the one who has taken over the misinformation and the miseducation of our citizens. I stand to be corrected, but in my estimation, especially, for instance, let me take the issue of jobs. I disagree that there are no jobs here in this country. I totally disagree, because I'm sure every day as I walk through town, people have advertised for jobs. And I'm sure, if not you, Ohima will be looking for somebody now to do a job. They listen to the media and they keep drumming unemployment. They put a mic to the mouth of people, to the populace, and the next thing they are asking if the person has a job. Listening. People are being fed with information. And every time these things are being drummed in their ears. Just the same way those information were drummed in our ears, and we come to believe, the media is leading that course now. And now and then, we will run and give Rwanda and Dubai as an example. What do they use their media for? That's me. I don't remember the last time I had a decent voice in the Rwanda media, because they are pushing the Rwanda agenda. What agenda are we pushing here in Ghana? It's unfortunate, but that's the Ghana we have. And I believe the media should be doing Ghana much more than what they are doing at the moment. Thank you very much.
Thank you too. Thank you for listening. Thank you for calling. That's 0302 216 541. Hello, and who's talking to me?
Hello, I'm Georgina.
Hello, Georgina. Let me hear you.
Okay, Nana, I've been listening to your program. This is my first time of calling.
Thank you.
And I think with what you are talking about this evening, I disagree with the system. We have the system in place, but it takes human beings to make the system work. And that is where the problem is. The people that will make the system work are our fathers, our husbands, our sisters and brothers. If we are all corrupt by nature, the problem we are seeing is what you will see. I'm a young lady who has established you. If you have this mindset, you collapse the business, then they will later go out there and say there's no job. They've forgotten that someone created the job, and due to our bad attitude, we collapse the job. Go to the education sector, the health sector, almost all the sectors. What did they do? We are all rushing to be rich. And that is not how the whites are behaving. So if we want this country to be the best that we want, we need to change our attitude. We need to know that it takes human beings for the law to be enforced. If you are a policeman, you have to check people. Make sure they are doing the right thing on the road. You go there and you want to take money instead of thinking about the welfare of the country. You are just looking for your personal interest. If we continue doing like this, it is going on in the education sector. They say the education is free. If things are not going well, speak to your employers. Make sure you give the best to the citizens. If you are not doing that, and you to all of us, if I change my attitude, I'm the person that is growing up to become a minister in future. If I have this perception that I'm building my country, why will I litter around? A white small girl or boy will not do that. So why would the black small girl or boy do that? It is about the attitude. Parents will teach their children. If you are in town, wherever you find yourself, don't throw rubbish anyhow. Keep it in your bag. Keep it in your pocket. When you come home, you empty, you trash it into the bin. What parents grow the country doing everything wrong? So we need to change our attitude.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But you seem to agree with me in a way. It's just that maybe you're not getting it. You see, what I'm saying is that if I was to give birth to Ernest Menu here, right, and took Ernest to a French school all his life, and he graduates, and I say, Ernest, I need you to now speak English. Where is he going to speak English from? Or me, you bring me today and say, I need you to do this show in French. How do I do it? So that's what I'm saying, that whatever it is that we want to see citizens do, from the day they step in school, they should be doing it. And we are talking about the parents, because unfortunately the parents also miss the boat. You see, unfortunately, the parents also miss the boat. So in order to break this cycle, and I'm saying it won't happen overnight. It will take about a generation and a half or even 2 generations before we see those good citizens sifting through, who will now look at us and probably laugh and start thinking, say, how did these people even think like this? But until then, if we think we can just leave the child when they are 30 years old, you come back and say, now, change your habit. It's going to be tough. Somebody on the phone? Makosby says, Nana, if a sheepdogs in Tema and Takrady Harbours looking for Ghanaians to go to the USA and Europe to become slaves and be paying $10 or $5 a day, you will be shocked to find out that these ships will sink before leaving the port from the sheer load of people who will jump on it. Today, everyone finishes school and the mentality is getting employed when we barely have industries to employ anybody. Makosby. Says everyone is chasing big jobs, meanwhile the jobs are non-existent. Bugabila in West Hills Mall has to be imbibed in him. It cannot just drop by a miracle. It cannot just assume that because you're an adult, you know what is right. No, you must be taught what is right. The reason why you're saying, a European child may not do something, but an adult child, an adult black child will do it. See change? Let us start like yesterday. Honesty, good timekeeping, patience, hard work, skills has to be taught. No child is born knowing that I have to have a skill. In the meantime, Ernest Menu is on standby. Sammy Forsen is on standby. Towns have their own historians. The tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter. Monday we'll be back to do it all over again.